What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan, and today we're going all in. I have an amazing dude in front of me, someone I've known for a few years, and this is the first time he's been on the show, which is awesome. I never knew this because I see this in his bio that he's quoted as the real-life Wizard of Oz by Forbes and Entrepreneur magazine. I had no idea about this, but he founded Bluefish a while back, which was amazing, once-in-a-lifetime events. You know, he's a best-selling author, and that's what we're going to talk about a lot today is his new book. It's Steve Sims. Welcome, my brother.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My man, I'm so pumped because we met years ago, and then we reconnected, right, after not talking for like a year or two. And you released a book that was so recent that I'm so pumped about. Tell me about it.
It's called Go for Stupid, The Art of Achieving Ridiculous Goals. And I wrote it because, quite simply, I got incredibly pissed off during COVID. As simple as it is.
Dude, I bought timeshares the first weekend of COVID, so I did. So you write a book, I buy timeshares. That's how we get pissed.
It was just, I wrote a book 8 years ago called Bluefish in the Art of Making Things Happen. It was a bestseller. It did really well. Kind of put me on the map as a teacher, coach, speaker. But I always vowed, that's it. I'm one and done. I am never doing another book. And then COVID came across, and I found myself getting really violent with the amount of people that were just happy to waste and binge watch their life away during that period of COVID, when it was an amazing time to reflect on where were you? Were you where you wanted to be 5 years ago? How was the family? Because we all know we love our family, but this was a real good time to find out if we liked them, because we were locked down, and it was great. And so I started writing blogs, writing articles, and trying to, I don't know if this is the right way, but trying to attack people into changing, and calling people out. And then I also thought to myself, well, is it just the society we're in today, or have we always been that ignorant and rude when given opportunities? So I started looking back on history to some of the change makers and the disruptors, the Henry Fords, the Mother Teresa's, the people that did things differently. And we're just naturally not very nice. We love to throw shade and hate at people that we don't understand and don't agree with. And I ended up putting it together, and someone said, you should turn this into a book. And so I did. And I wanted it to prod people to just change the way they action, change the way they communicated, change the way they viewed relationships. Because if I needed you to speak Russian, I could send you to a Russian course. If I needed you to be a specialist in technology, hey, there's another course for that. But the ability to connect a human being to another human being, there's no course, there's no app you can download, but it's a skill set that's going to differentiate us from being successful or broke. And we need to really focus on that today before it's a muscle that we lose.
Wow. And if I were to guess, you've never been misunderstood ever, right?
Yeah, I have.
I'm being very sarcastic.
I know, and I appreciate that now. But it's like everything. We learn how to handle money by losing it. We learn how to make good relationships by having bad ones. We learn how to have great business decisions by having dire ones. So there was a period in my life where, just like everyone else in the planet, I thought we had to kind of dull ourselves down in order to reach as many people as possible, until I realized I don't want to reach a lot of people. I want to reach somebody. And when you start focusing like that, you can take the effort away and just be you. And it is so refreshing. So I appreciate you taking it now. And I got the joke, but I learned how to be me for many years by not being.
That's incredible. If I'm capturing this correctly, the inspiration for your book was looking back over history to see how shitty people were to each other?
Yeah, I saw in COVID that we were being shitty. Because bearing in mind, in COVID, what was the mantra? Everyone was screaming, oh, I can't connect with anyone. I can't get out with my mates. Well, during that period of us not being able to connect, we invented the gotcha society and the cancel culture. We invented two toxic elements to stop us communicating. In a time when we couldn't communicate in, now we were making it even worse. And so I did get pissed off. I actually wondered, and I wanted to believe that we were just inherently bad today and we could change it. But we've always been that bad. We've always been that ignorant, but we can change it. And in a time frame today where we've got more ways to connect with people, we've never been more disconnected.
That's insane, man. Because, I mean, what was that biggest phrase, right? We're all in this together. You know, which was just a bunch of bullshit to begin with, of course. You know, it was just something to try to make us feel good. Yeah. Prior to COVID, I mean, let's just say, I know you're looking at history and everything, but let's just say this millennia, right? Leading up to that, did you see this as like just a pot that was just waiting to boil?
Oh, I think we've been getting terrible. And everyone was saying, they're saying now, oh, you know, COVID, we're really bad at connecting and we're really bad at relationships. Well, we were really bad in 1999 when we suddenly started getting Friendster and MySpace and Facebook and A Small World and LinkedIn and Twitter. And the bottom line of it is, years back, and I'm not trying to romanticize it, but there was a time when if you got a new job or a new car or a new baby, you would phone up your mates, you'd all get together, have a drink and look at the new whatever. Now, you have a baby, you throw it up on Facebook and you're literally pissed off if you don't get 1 million likes by 5 o'clock. You know, we are outsourcing our announcements. We're not communicating with people anymore. We're throwing banners and statements at them and then gauging the responses. And we're losing the ability to understand what the repercussions are. So we're going onto someone's digital feed and go, well, you look fat in that. And then going about our day, unbeknown to us, absolutely wrecking that person that maybe they were really trying to lose weight or trying to work hard on something. Yeah. And there's no repercussions. So the world of communication has got really bad. And if you want an example, I'm a biker from East London and I'm getting paid to teach and communicate all over the planet on the art of communication. That's a joke in itself. But I'm really good at it only because the rest of the planet is becoming really bad at it. And I'm trying to get people to realize that it is a muscle. Yeah. It is a talent. And if you don't pay attention to it now, you're literally going to be too late to get back in the game.
Do you talk about that in your book, that it's a muscle, it's a talent to communicate well?
I do.
Yeah,
absolutely. And the book's going to piss you off because it's so simple. It's so basic. It shows examples from Elon Musk, Elton John, the Vatican. It shows examples that you can get behind of where you can actually start being willing to stand up in order to stand out. You want to live your own life. You want to set your own ridiculous, laughable goals. Yeah. And then we're going to show you how to achieve them. This is your life. It's not a dress rehearsal. And don't gauge your standards on somebody else. So this is really trying to prod and poke and get you aggravated in order to do something more for you.
That's cool. You mentioned Musk, right? I was just reading this morning, talk about a guy who's not the best at communicating.
No.
Have you heard of the game Polytopia? No. This was just like on my Google News feed. Every morning while I eat breakfast, I'm catching up on current events, right? So then I can talk about them with guys like you, right? Yeah. But this was just this morning, Polytopia. This dude, when he has something that pisses him off, he'll like sequester himself, like in the car or whatever, and play this game Polytopia. And apparently it's this huge strategy game, but he goes into like this totally introverted mode when he gets pissed off and decides not to communicate about the issues, but dives into this game, which apparently taught him everything he knows about business and strategy too. It was this weird reciprocating cycle. I'm like, who is this guy? It's like he's a world disruptor, but at the same time, what you're saying, it's like, what the hell? The guy doesn't talk except just blow up at people.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's a good thing that you pulled that up. A lot of people think disruptive, successful people are extroverts. And it's actually quite the opposite. You see, an extrovert needs attention. When they don't get attention, they implode. An introvert, they require impact. They require something to be done. They require a structure. So an introvert will move with purpose, okay, well, if I do this and again, you brought up Elon Musk. Yeah. The only reason he goes on TV is because people demand him to go on TV. And when he goes on TV, everyone takes the piss out of him because it's not what he was built to do. But he still disrupts. He's still powerful. He's still generating impact all over the planet. So if you're sitting there going, well, I'm an introvert, I can't be that kind of disruptor. Trust me, you probably got more skill set and talent at doing it because you're an introvert than you have if you were an extrovert.
Well, that's the muscle, right? It's almost like you don't, like I think of, as I train, and if I'm thinking of my physical body with the muscle, if I train a muscle the wrong way, right, as an extrovert, as the metaphor here, it's going to take a lot longer to untrain that or any kind of habit that you have. But I could see your point with introverts. It's like if you've never tried to work that muscle to begin with, it's almost like it's non-polluted. You can just start from the right way the first time.
And that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Man, that's incredible. I'll end it with the game on this, but it cracked me up because I'm like, this guy just goes into like a hole, right, and plays this game to try to learn how to conquer the world. And it's like it's available on Apple, on Android, on Windows, on Mac, and then I'm like, and Tesla. You can literally play this game in your freaking Tesla. It's the only car that it's in. But anyways, man, your book, I mean, so you're sitting around here, you're getting pissed off, right? And you decide to write this thing. You do all this history research. Where has this gotten you today? Because I mean, we've known each other again for years, and I know how much you love social media. But you're on it. You're on it because it's how the world talks right now, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. You're absolutely correct. You don't have to agree with something to use it, and there's always the old saying that if you're not using it, it's using you.
Yeah.
We've got a platform out there in order to be able to allow people to make a decision. See, I think the world's turned into an entire culture of voyeurs. We like to watch people now. What are they about? What are they saying? Do I agree with them? So in the world of social, it's your job to put out statements to mean something to you, to actually put out pictures, videos, however it is. I want to give you an unmistakable gauge to go, hey, this is me. This is what I do. I speak on stages. I coach. I have my own community, Sims Distillery. I write books.
I drink scotch.
If I drink a lot of scotch, if this works for you, hey, come play in my sandpit. But if it doesn't, at least you know. You see, the danger today is people get on social and they create a persona. They create a fake personality that you look at and you go, do you know, I like that person. And then you get into that sandpit and you're like, hang on a minute. I feel as though I've just been conned. This isn't you, If someone's turning up and they got bad hair, they don't wear flashy clothing, they can't speak straight, whatever. If it's them, then you can accept it. You can make an educated decision if that's the person I want to deal with. I also have bad headaches. I also can't spell very well. These are relatable items. So with me, I try to utilize social to just go, hey, this is the line in the sand. This is what I talk about. I act like this is what relates to me. If it works for you, great. If not, move along. And I try to do that with a book, and I try to do that in every element of my life. I want to be, and this is an old statement, the difference between being easy to understand and impossible to misunderstand.
Oh, powerful.
And I want to be the latter of that.
For sure. That's brilliant. Wow, that is beautiful. This muscle to build. I mean, talking about social, how can you build that muscle on social media? I see it, brother. I mean, I do. I mean, it's like the cars that people don't own, right? That they're taking pictures by. It's the trips that they're going on, right? It's like a work trip or whatever because they were paid there to go to a conference, and all of a sudden they take one photo by the beach, and it's like, oh, this is my life.
Yeah.
It's like when they go back home to their flat, and it's just a studio apartment or whatever, or working a data entry job or something. But it's such a filter that's on there. But how can we encourage people to build that muscle?
Well, there's a couple of things that are happening, which I'm quite pleased about.
Bring it.
COVID also annoyed the shit out of everyone. And it aggravated us because at the time, we were getting conspiracies from countries, from politics, from medical. Should we take this injection or should we not? We became very skeptical and cynical, which is our defense mechanism. And like you've just said it, pre-COVID, people were selling courses because they'd rented a Lamborghini for the day and they were all circulating, taking the pictures on this car, going, hey, if you want this kind of lifestyle, buy my $12.99 course.
Yep.
And people were buying it. But now we are a lot more cynical. I always say to people, ask questions and base the source. You see, you don't want someone that's just won the lottery for $3 million selling a course on how to become financially independent.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck do they know? They bought a lottery ticket and they got lucky. You don't want to talk to a supermodel that's never been over 105 pounds in her life about how to diet and be fit.
Yeah.
You really got to look at the source. I want to learn about being wealthy from a guy that's been bankrupt. I want to learn about diets from someone who was 350 pounds and worked it all off. You've got to look at the source. Where is this information coming from? Where is it valid? And we've gone through the quick fix. We've gone through the just add water and poof, there's an instant millionaire. Stuff isn't quick. It takes time. Developing a brand, developing credibility, developing your voice, your tonality, your style, your substance. It takes time. Now, building a good reputation like that will take time. Losing it will take seconds. And that's also the world we're in. We're quick to judge and slow to listen. So we've got to make sure that everything we do today is very, very well defined. And here's the funny thing. I say stuff that's inappropriate. People don't like the fact that I drink old fashions or ride motorcycles or just wear a black t-shirt. That's fine. But it takes no effort for me to be me. So the first rule of thumb with your digital presence, I say digital, websites, socials, Facebooks, anything. The first question is, how much effort is it to be you on those digital platforms? And if the answer is anything, then you're doing it wrong. You should be able to, and you say about your flat, about your one bed set, just because you're in a bed set doesn't mean you're unsuccessful. It means you're working on other priorities. When you want to, I took a picture because we've all seen people on jets that haven't even left the runway, haven't even started, and they're taking pictures. I'm on my private jet. In Burbank, you can rent those bloody jets just to take photographs on, and they won't go anywhere.
Yep.
I took a picture of me. I had I forget where I was flying back from. I think it was Vegas or something like that. And it was only a short flight that I was on. And I had to quickly get this ticket, and I had economy right to the back by the toilets. Okay, me and my son. So we took a picture of the rest of the plane, and I went, I'm on a private jet with 400 of my closest friends. And just took the piss out of it. And it did really well. You see, your life is your life. The scars you go through, the depressions, the darks, that's what can help other people. That's your substance. Don't deny it.
That's brilliant, man. I was on a private just about a month ago, and a person on the team was like, make sure you get a photo. I'm like, I don't want to take a photo. I'm like, because this is something that it was like, I needed to do this in order to make another event in time. That was the only reason I took it, right? Because it's like if I'm going to 11 o'clock the night before and the 9 o'clock when I have to be on stage the next day at an event that'll probably, it was to do an investor dinner, right? That I know is going to bring in like 300K of investor dollars. It's like the ROI makes sense, but it freaking killed me when commercial would have been like $300 if there was an actual flight. So it's like, I don't want to take a photo because it's like, if that's the thing, if there's a genuine need for it, let's go for it. But I think I even had an Aston Martin for 4 years that I owned, a 2019 van. I just got rid of it like a couple months ago. I think there might be one photo with me out there with that thing right now. And I actually owned it. It was my car, because it's like, that's for me. That's a thing that's for me. It's something that I enjoy. It's not something for everybody else that's out there. It's something that takes the stress off for me. I got this thing for me, not to show it out there to be like, oh, you can get one too. Because let's be real. Let's be real, Steve. And a lot of people aren't going to like this. I don't think that everyone has the capability of getting an Aston Martin or flying on privates, right? It's like telling somebody that has a horrible singing voice, oh, you're going to be on Broadway someday. I think one of the biggest travesties is that parents can tell your kids, oh, you can do anything. You know what I mean? It's not you can do anything. It's that you will do anything you want to if ...
I think the word and the world of entrepreneurs has been romanticized. We've seen in the 80s and the 90s, leaving school, you wanted to be a rock star, or you wanted to be a football player, or a musician, or an actor, or something like that. Now you've got kids going, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be Elon Musk. I want to be Larry Page. I want to be, and they name these entrepreneurs. Every single one of those has had their ass handed to them on countless times.
Bingo.
Being an entrepreneur, you have to be thick-skinned and realize that you're going to be screwed, fucked over, lied, ripped off, laughed at, hated, and you've still got to continue, and then you may get it again. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. It's absolutely not. But we're the weird kids that kind of can't do anything else.
Yeah, no joke.
But there's a lot of people on the sidelines that are going, oh, that's me. Until they suddenly find out they can't pay their mortgage that Friday, or that someone is stealing their ideas and putting it over all their social, or someone's doing a better job at marketing your service to their clientele. So it's a tough thing. And you're right. Not everyone can do it.
Yeah. And a lot of it comes to motivation and priorities too, right? And that's what it's talking about. It's like you mentioned the person that can't pay their mortgage. It's probably because they might have gone out and bought that exotic car just to show themselves off to everybody else. And you mentioned like when I did get the comments, right? Because we're all on social out there, right? With that one photo, it's like, oh, where'd you rent that car? And I'm saying like, it's my fucking car. It's actually mine. Yeah. Like that's the world that we live in, and that's okay. But yeah, some people can't succeed in those areas, and it's because their priorities are mixed up. It's just that they're looking to get the attention, and that's maybe the extrovert thing that you were talking about originally.
Yes.
They're just looking to gain that attention, and that's the reason why they make the poor decisions to begin with.
Yeah, you've really got to question everything you do. What's the point? That's the one thing I teach time and time again, repetitive. It should be on a bloody mouse pad. What's the point? So when I get people going, hey, I want to be on stage, I want to buy a book, I want to launch a company, I want to scale my company, I want to sell my company, whatever you want to do, ask yourself, what's the point? What is it you're looking to get out of the action you're about to take? If it's for fulfillment, admiration, approval, then you're chasing a unicorn because no one cares. You all think that, oh, as soon as I've got this money and I buy a big house, I'll have all of these friends. No, you'll have all these freeloaders. Your friends are the ones that are with you buying the beer when you can't afford it. Those are your friends.
Right on, brother.
We all know you've only got a few of those. I think I've maybe got 4 friends. I've got loads of buddies. Yeah. Got loads of pals.
Yeah.
But, when I've killed the milkman in the morning, I need to bury the body, probably only 4 phone calls I can make.
Yeah, true. Oh, my gosh. I think I'm going to send you a mouse pad now that you talked about that, because I'm guessing it hasn't been. My team's going to take note of that right now as we're recording this. You're going to have that show up, brother. You want a tumbler too? I'll get you a mug.
There you go.
What's the point? I hope everybody heard that, though, for real, because that's a beautiful statement. Anything you choose to dive into, it's like that's a gut check, man. What's the point?
Every time.
I'm going to use that too. Yeah.
Yeah. It saved me. I've lost money on projects where I've just been blinkered by the fact that there's either a big paycheck in it, or there's a celebrity attachment, or there's some knock on to something, rather than just going, well, okay, I'm going to do this. What's the point? See, another thing that I also do to extend on that, what's the point, is I focus on an ROE. Now, we all know in investing an ROI, return on investment. I look at the ROE. What's the return on effort and energy? How much energy am I going to put into this? And I may make $100,000 in 10 minutes, but I may be so wiped out, so negative with the planet because of what I had to do to make that 100. Maybe I can't deal with anyone for like 6 weeks. Yeah. So then I haven't made 100 grand in 10 minutes. I've made 100 grand in 6 weeks. You know, and you start analyzing. So I always do. What's the point and what's going to be the return on effort and energy? Can I put low energy into it and low effort and it turns around quick? Great. Will it rejuvenate my energy and effort? Great. But if it'll sap it, then you need to avoid it.
Man, that's a brilliant way to look at it too. ROE.
Yep.
I love it, brother. Your book, where can we go buy that thing?
Well, I'm going to be even nicer. I'm going to give it away. You see, goforstupid.com is where you can actually watch all chapters that I read. You see, the first book I did an audio book. And if you've anyone out there that's thinking of doing this, one of the worst experiences of my life is actually doing an audio book. Really? You stand inside this thing that's the same size as like a toilet concert venue, and you read it off of an iPad. You've got no natural sunlight. You can't drink coffee because it has to be zero sound. It was painful. So this time when I was going to read the book, because I knew audio did really well, we sold a lot on audio for Bluefish in. I thought to myself, I don't want to be in a box. So a friend of mine had a studio. So I literally stood there, some of it with an old fashioned, and I read the book from a teleprompter. So we were able to scrape the sound for the audio, but now I had every single chapter on video. So if you go to goforstupid.com, you can actually watch every single chapter of all 12 chapters for free. If you want to buy the book, then just go to stevedsims.com. Don't forget D for dashing, only one M in Sims. stevedsims.com, and hey, the book will be there.
That's awesome, brother. Dude, I always appreciate our conversations. They're always great exchanges, my man. Thanks for coming on today, my man. And everybody needs to go for stupid.com. Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate it. Bye.